Welcome to the Endurance Balance. I'm Coach J.W. McKenna. Joining me are Coach Alicia Phillips and Coach Ann Sharkey. Together, we break down the 80-20 philosophy through the lens of real life. Our goal is simple, to help you fit the training into the chaos. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to the Endurance Balance. I'm Coach J.W. Joining me at the table, as always, are Coaches Alicia and Ann. Between hitting your splits and making it to the school play on time, who has hours to spend in the kitchen? Today, we're throwing away the complicated meal plans and bringing you into our real-world kitchens. We're breaking down nutrient-dense, homemade fueling options that actually fit into the chaos of the everyday endurance athlete's life. Before we get to all that, we're going to start off with the training logs. I know you both had a bit of a busy weekend, and we'll start with Coach Ann.
Oh, I get to lead it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a busy weekend. I had my Dragon Boat League. Sarasota had a big Dragon Boat Festival. So, it was very cool. There were, what did I read? Like a couple, I don't know, like 1,500 people.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
teams from as far as Chicago, Charlotte, some Tampa, Orlando, like Miami, teams from all over did this race. So I'm so ill prepared. There were so many races, but very impressively, like impressive, like running very together, very organized, everything. They were actually like 30 minutes ahead of schedule at one point. But I had a
Man.
blast. We raced 3 races. First one, we were in first place like the whole time, and then we lost the lead by like literally I lost first place by half a second. And then
Wow.
I know. So one of the things that I have had to learn is that the
Can you draft in
competitive-
Dragon Boat?
No, you're in one lane. Like you're each in a lane.
Okay.
But one thing I have had to learn, and I said this to my husband while we were there, because I was like, I do need to let that competitive side of me go a little bit.
I know.
Because I'm like,
No,
oh,
no.
it was, everybody got tired and we should have done better. And it was the guy back there. Like, I'm like going through this whole thing. I'm like, could you see who went out of sync? I need to know who it was. He's like, I couldn't tell. Like, I'm going to look at the video. But also, like, I need to just relax and go have fun. And it was a blast. I have also learned that Dragon Boat race season was, I believe, like the February to April timeframe that I just did. And then the second part of the season is, I think they said August to October, maybe. So in between there, they do have like some events or some like Dragon Boat 101 where they really focus on technique and things like that. So I might do that to fill in the time and then pick it back up more seriously whenever the next season hits. But I had a blast. It was so much fun. We were out in the sun all day though. They did have some tents up. The weather was amazing, but it was a long day. I was very surprised. We raced 2 500-meter races and then a 200. And that first 500, I'm not going to lie, I thought I was going to lose it because I mean, it like my heart rate was up there and it was tough. My stomach was not feeling that great after
Do you
that.
know your splits? I'm genuinely curious.
The first one was, let me see if I can find it real quick. I did write it down because there's also
I
that
think
side.
about in High Rocks, one of the stations is rowing. We have to row 1,000 meters. And so I'm sure usually it does your splits of like a 500-meter row. And I'm usually averaging 2 minutes, sometimes 2:10, sometimes 1:50. But I'm curious how that translates to like Dragon Boat or rowing.
Would it
So-
do it? Because how many did you have in the boat?
We have
Yeah, I don't
20
know.
people in the boat.
So 10 per side, and then obviously 10
So that's
pulling at a time, right? So
What was your distance and what was your time?
So 500-meter, first one was 2:40:46.
Okay.
2 minutes,
So-
40 seconds, 46.
But
Yeah.
that's in the ocean too with current.
It's in a lake.
Okay.
And we did
Open water.
have a pretty, that one wasn't very windy. The second one and the third one, like we did have a good wind that came in. Second race was 2:46:48.
Mm.
So we were 6 seconds slower because somebody went out of sync, and I don't know who it was. So
But you have to start from a dead stop.
yes,
Like go,
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So that's like you got to like build that momentum. Interesting.
yeah, definitely.
So
So
what's your boat
When you think of
name?
like running on a treadmill versus like running outside versus just that.
yeah,
Oh, it's,
yeah.
Yeah.
We were, and I was not there the day. I don't know if they picked this name. I don't know how it came about. All of a sudden, I was in a group text about the Yellow Jacket Stingers,
Yellow Jacket Stingers.
and I was, and
I like it.
this is so terrible, but I got I was getting all these text messages from all these numbers I don't know, and I was like, I left the group because I thought it was somebody's like soccer team, and
Yeah.
I was like, they were asking for shirt sizes. I'm like, this is not for me. I don't know how I
Well,
got in there, but it was
Yellow Jacket Stingers. Don't be offended. She left my group too. It's just what Ann does.
I did. Because, see, it goes back to what we were talking about when we first started this conversation off the air, is that I don't want to. I'm not going to do that.
I just don't want
And
to.
I did leave your group because y'all are in a different time zone and there's a lot of chiming that was going on, and I have to have my phone on at night for emergencies, and that thing was going off.
You
I'm
need to
like,
turn that notification thing off. That's what mine is.
yeah.
Hence why
You know, I
missed you
did
guys
put
last week.
instructions right at the beginning of that chat. How to turn off notifications so you don't
Yeah.
get bothered. I
But
did
then
do that.
also,
just so
I
you know.
wasn't following along, and I
So
was like,
just-
this is one more thing in my life that I don't need.
I just don't want
Sorry.
to.
I just don't want to.
I just don't want to.
That's my new like tagline at the bottom of my email. I don't want to do that. No. So yeah, but yes, great weekend, fantastic. Had a blast. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10.
So
Awesome.
just a little caveat warning out there for all the Yellow Jacket Stingers. She's looking for someone.
Oh, there
What
was
size
another.
shirt are you?
There was a right. Don't leave the chat group because you don't know what's going on. There was another group out there. I love their name. Their name was Dragon AZZ. Dragon Az.
Dragon ass.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
like it.
I want to be on that team just for the name and the shirt. So that's where
Give me
I am
that
in my
shirt.
life right now. Like, I don't want to, but I'm going to go row a boat with 20 strangers.
We'll tell you what,
That's
with
awesome.
the with the Iron Man visor incident, and now this, they might just kick you off the team. So you might be able
They
to.
probably really will. They'll probably be like, stop, just get out of the boat right now.
This is funny. I'm wearing
Uh.
my husband's like work hoodie. It's a lot of like Coast Guard boats are named after somebody or something. I don't know. This one, his is called the Catherine Walker, who she was somebody important. I'm totally gonna screw this up, but let me show you the back of it because you guys will get a kick of their like mascot. I don't know if you can see it. If I'm gonna do this, adjust it.
Is it?
Do you see Catherine Walker?
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's got like Mike. Who is Catherine Walker?
She's taking
And
her
this-
sweatshirt and spinning it around. I
For
hope
those
y'all
of
are
you
watching
that are
this.
not
Look at-
watching right
look
now,
at how
Alicia is
cute-
trying to do some maneuver about spinning the sweatshirt around.
Catherine Walker looks good. Let's just say
She
that.
does look good. Yeah.
She looks good.
That's funny.
Good enough for a tattoo.
She looked like a
That's
Princess Leia there for
She's
a
a
minute.
sailor. She is a sailor.
She is a sailor.
I thought from a distance it looked like one of those geisha girls or
And
something.
now I just
but-
want you guys to Google off camera what Catherine Walker actually looks like.
Oh, did they do her some justice? Okay.
They made her look good.
Okay,
Anyway.
Anne
next,
has no
Alicia.
filter tonight.
That was not me. Alicia, what are you up to this weekend?
I had a
Well, I Google
great
Catherine Walker.
had a great weekend. I had an athlete who raced the Jersey City Marathon. And she was going, we PR'd. We had in the back of our brain possibly a BQ qualifier, but it was going to be one of those that come down to the weather, all the things. And I looking back on, I'm like, she could have maybe, but she did have like coming back from an injury, so we were very conservative. But this was really cool. Our goal, I was like, I want to see 8-minute paces, 8-minute miles. Not sure what that is in kilometers, JW, sorry.
Sorry, what was it?
And
He's not even
8-minute
paying
miles.
attention.
I'm looking for Catherine Walker. Yes, look, something shiny. Sorry, what? What was the distance?
Catherine Walker
8-minute
ran an 8-minute mile.
An
And
8-minute mile is 12:52. Or no, 8-minute mile. There we go. Is about a 5. That's pretty good.
yeah, she ran a 3:30. Her average pace ended up being 8:02 pace. Like,
Oh.
her heart rate was in the 160s averaging. So when we look at that, we're like, oh, she could have given more, but like she felt amazing out there obviously. The biggest thing was the wind definitely played a factor. There was some big winds pulling or holding them back, almost like 30-mile-an-hour gust. So that part wasn't fun, but otherwise, like, she still had a 4-minute PR. This is another crazy story. You guys are gonna be like, you were the worst coach ever. I'm surprised she didn't fire you. And I'm just gonna let you
Ooh.
guys know I'm still coaching her.
Does she know?
She's
Whether
famous
she knows it
for
or not.
she is famous for something new on race day. Like, that's almost her. We almost have to keep going with that because it's like she just does it, and it causes me so much stress and anxiety as her coach. But you guys, she did bicarb for the first time on race morning.
Oh.
Nice.
And it was a success.
I like it. Nice.
She's famous for getting some little side cramps in her ribs, and we do know she has a very hard stomach. She did the Morton bicarb, which is super
Team Ready
expensive.
Endurance athletes, please cover your ears.
And it was a success, so I'm going to say everybody out there do bicarb. I've been giving it samples to everybody. Bicarb. And I got to witness her take it down while we're sitting in the car. And you could, my heart rate was going. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? But it was a success. It was a huge success.
Once she hits the corrals, I can sneak out and just leave.
Man, it was one of those, once I saw her hit the 5K, and I'm like, okay, she's good. If something was going to happen, it would happen in the beginning,
Right.
Yeah, no, it was so. And then I had another friend who, you guys would really appreciate this. I didn't coach her at all, but she runs, and we've actually never ran. She lives less than a mile from me. Doesn't run with a watch, doesn't run with a heart rate monitor, just runs, and didn't have a training plan. She's like, well, I did 12 miles at one point. And then her thing is she didn't run all week leading up to the race because she's like, I didn't want to get hurt or something. And ran a 2-hour half marathon, crushed it. But
old school. I love it.
Yeah.
old school, just
Yep.
first race she's ever done. It's one of those things of running is just such a cool community. That's what I'm going to say about that. So
Did you I'm going to go down the first of probably many rabbit holes tonight. Did you see the female winner of the Boston Marathon today? I don't remember
Yes.
her name, and shame on me for not knowing that, but
Loki, she won it last year too.
yes, she forgot her watch. She was on the bus 20 minutes into the bus ride and had forgotten her watch, and got somebody on the bus gave her their watch so she could run.
There is another one. I don't know who exactly who she went. She forgot to eat breakfast the day before her race. I'm like, these are pro elite athletes.
Yeah.
Things that you think should be so rigid routine and stuff. So it is just interesting that
I don't know. I'm going to be the jerk here and just say I would have been more impressed if she ran without the watch and did it by RPE.
I thought
instead of
that's
borrowing
where it
someone
was
else's.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was where she was
That would've
going,
been-
but
that would've been crazy.
whoever gave them their watch, obviously ran it naked. So
Well, and then that
Kudos
wasn't
to
synced
them.
up to her, so that had been interesting. What if it was beeping at her? What if there was
yeah, I don't know.
Like, that could've almost gone
Maybe she had time to
sideways.
figure it out, because I know with Boston, there's so much time in between, and
Well,
Or it
yeah,
was like
you
a
get what
teammate or
like your 2
something.
hours. You got to load the bus, go
yeah, it's a
wait in
lot.
the wait. It's kind of like
I feel
a
like that
doctor's
one, their
office, right? You
sponsor
got to
must
wait
have
before you get to the
been there.
corral that takes you to the starting corral, and
Yeah, there's a lot
That
to
was
it.
cool.
That's amazing.
This was fun. I was super rooting for Jess McLean. Jess Dunn is her Instagram handle, and she was our top female American to win. She got 5th place.
Yep. And did you see where she has stepped back from professional racing because she was not having fun. She was chasing podiums
Yes.
and the medals, and she said, "This isn't for me." So she works a full-time job. She's
Yes.
like, people love me for who I am, not for what I'm trying to accomplish, and took a huge step back, and then ended up
Mhm.
running like a 2:21. No.
Yeah,
Yes?
220.
2:20.
220.
Yeah.
She set an American record.
Yeah.
take the
Amazing.
pressure off, right, and do it for the
Yeah.
love. I'm telling
And
you.
she's not running as much, she said. Like, training's totally different.
I
Yeah,
think she's running a bit. I think
well,
she's running a bit.
like, probably not
But
as much
she also
as she
qualified for
was.
the Olympic trials for the half marathon. So she's going to the Olympics in 2028. I mean, for the half distance. So cool that because she, I think, was a track athlete before she was
Yeah.
into the longer distance.
Yeah.
She's a Brooks athlete. So Brooks, I
Yeah.
mean, I think at this point, shoes are just becoming, you can buy any shoe now and you're going to be all right. It doesn't have to be the Nike Alpha Flies, which that was definitely the leading shoe out on the course for sure. The Alpha Flies.
Mm.
It's funny that as a
Nice.
coaching I was so proud of myself. I was like 25,000 steps, just run around all of the different stops. And
Yeah,
it was
it's a long
super
day.
fun. I will say, a lot of people ask me like, did you want to be out there racing? And I was like, I actually truly loved spectating and like coaching. I was like, when I found her, I'd run along with her, the crowd support, just yelling, watching all of the runners, like especially I was right at mile 26, so just seeing like they're finishing, them like either falling apart. I'm like, relax your shoulders, like I mean, it's just crazy the sideline aspect of
I
being a run coach.
Sherping. In fact, I'm going to go up to Ironman Jacksonville in a couple of weeks, and I can't wait to go up. I really can't. I love the whole aspect of the Sherpa side. Yep, absolutely. Because you can be not just as tired, because that's not fair, but I
joked. I carb loaded with her. I ate probably more food than she ate post race.
Yeah.
We had spaghetti dinner. We did burgers after. It was
nice. Love it.
Which will kind of lead us after JW into our
When did you do the spaghetti dinner?
Oh no,
the night
Here he
before.
goes.
The night before?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Very simple carbs. When do you do it?
Well, it's kind of like that last episode. I will always tell that, like, athletes, do spaghetti, but it's the lunchtime meal, not the night before meal.
It's never
Right?
a
So you
meal
have
for
a
me.
nice empty stomach. Right? No
I mean,
fruits
it
and
wasn't-
vegetables.
I say
Right,
we
so
ate
you
dinner
just-
at like 5 or 6, maybe even earlier, because we were in bed early.
I don't know. I usually tell athletes just, have it around lunchtime, no later than maybe 1:30, and then you just have nice kind of light meal the night before, and then you're empty and you're ready to go and get your oatmeal or porridge, or not porridge, but oatmeal or whatever, your bagels. Sorry, that's what I was thinking of. Whatever it is that you do in the morning. So, no, again, if it works for some, just doesn't work for most, I find. So, but as you both know, and I wanted to bring it to the attention of some of our listeners, that over the weekend, so it's Monday for us right now because we're recording Mondays, and then this episode will drop on Friday. We hit our 500 episode, or downloads and listens. So yay for us. Just wanted a big shout out for everybody that is taking us on those long runs or those commutes to work and chores around the house and listening to us. We certainly do appreciate all the support. So, and it's only December, when we were having a conversation like this, but not without mics and cameras, that we said, we've been talking about this, we should still do it. And it's just like, I don't even remember which one. I did, probably all of us at the same time just said, well, what are we waiting for? Let's just do it. then here we are, 500, the benchmark of 500 later, and followers and everything else. And I just keep getting people who happen to bump into me, just keep, love it, love the style, love the flow, and some great information. So
do they
hopefully
love you or do they love us? No, I'm just kidding.
They love us. He
Yeah.
would never tell us that, but they truly love us.
I have that face for radio, right? So, it's not about me. I'm just the monkey behind the wheel here, kind of putting up all the notes here and there and everything else. So we'll say it's you two doing all the getting all the draws and stuff in. So but no, thank you everybody. That's awesome. Just ramping things up on our side. It's got some athletes that are heading into taper week 1 out of 2. So I have one that's going to be doing a 70.3 here shortly. Another one, believe if we get past some injury, it's going to be for a half marathon coming up in a couple of weeks as well. So things are going well. I don't know about where you are, listeners, or for yourselves there. Our weather is extremely bipolar right now. And so some of this training, Thursday of last week, so what, just like 5 days ago,
Major heat
I was
wave.
on the snowblower for 2.5 hours. Right.
Oh,
I just out, I did a
jeez.
couple of the neighbor stuff or whatever. Right. But it was that really wet, heavy snow. But yeah, I was on the snowblower. I didn't realize it, but 2.5 hours. And today we are 25 degrees. All the snow's gone. Like, it's just crazy trying to get out there and do some of these runs and things are out there. So depending on where you are, just watch for those ice in the morning, watch for the different snow. We're not all as lucky as some others that may have summer all the time.
I know.
That's
We're
right.
in
Coach Ann?
my grass is green, but we're in a freeze warning. I had to bring all my plants in.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
And then I think we're getting another couple of centimeters on Thursday again. So who knows, right? Like, I just pick it.
It is the season. It is the season.
So,
But
so that's kind of where we're at. So, if anybody's still listening to us, let's move on.
welcome to the show, guys.
They're fast forwarding 30 minutes into the conversation.
22.
Yes.
I have my big clock over here. Yeah, today we're talking about, like I mentioned, it's the meal prep. Endurance athletes, there's a lot of commercial stuff out there. There's a lot of kind of pre-made stuff. And, we've each talked once in a while about, I like to try to keep my nutrition and my hydration separate and not in one bottle, because then I can control it better, the sodiums and everything else. And then some of it is, real foods. Really at the end of the day, we'll call the real foods pretty much anything without a barcode. Right. So we definitely want to keep staying away from the processed stuff. But for the first part of tonight's topic on, the fueling and the foods and the making it, we're gonna talk about the reality of cooking in the chaos. Right. So even just cooking day to day, how do we make our choices? How do we keep it the smart choices? We're going to talk, Ann's going to be referencing a couple of books, right? Again, we're not endorsing them per se. We're not paid affiliates, anything like that. But there's just some good information in some of these books. And I think we can give you some tips and tricks on, what seems legit and maybe what seems all hype kind of stuff. And then, of course, obviously, not being, registered licensed dietitians or anything like that, we're just going to tell you what works really, really well for us on our sides. So, Coach Alicia, how do you handle the day-to-day cooking? So the meals, the kids, it was getting off to karate for us, it's tonight, and then it's going to be coming up starting next week, 3 times a week, getting out to soccer and all these other things. So how do you handle that? Kind of keep the nutrition up, keeping the meals healthy and on par to match your training?
well, I'd like to say I have a personal chef that cooks all my meals.
And then the reality comes back.
And then I wake up.
No, let's do it the reality or no. We aim, to be honest, we aim to do 3 meals a week. We're really big on rice, which is like one of those things. Sometimes we put in the rice maker. Sometimes we do the 90 seconds in the microwave. We're huge on the frozen microwavable vegetables. So again, the steamable broccoli packets. Cheap, simple. We do batch. I mean, I wouldn't say that. It's funny in that so with 4 kids and then 2 adults, but growing kids, I'm very nervous for the teenage stages in life. I don't know about you guys, but I remember like my high school days, like I could take down a box of cereal, like, we would hoard those boxes of cereals. We joke like right now we are a 2 large pizza family. So like we have to order 3 just so we have leftovers. And obviously every kid wants more. But no, I mean, let's be honest, we do mac and cheese, ramen a lot. But like in my eyes, like still that beats McDonald's or like fast food. We rarely eat out. Sometimes it's cereal for dinner, but I will say my husband does help a lot. And kids do dishes around here. So it's one of those things that I don't worry about how much dishes we are using. I love those like one pan, put everything in, throw it in the oven, call it good. A good old frozen lasagna every now and again. We do pizza almost every Friday. It's kind of just like a staple in our house.
Order or homemade?
Takeout, like deliver.
Takeout? Yeah. Okay.
How does your body work? Like if you're going to eat pizza Friday night, can you run on that Saturday morning?
Oh, absolutely. So we have a very good, so we don't have really, I mean, I guess there are, but especially in New Jersey, that's like New York pizza. It's a thing, right? It's very thin crust,
Yes.
simple ingredients. It's not like the deep dish, or it's definitely not a chain. So it's really clean. And I feel like
I know what you're talking about.
eating healthy when it's the pizza that we get. And the kids love it. I feel like I'm getting some fat, carbs, protein. It's a win-win, yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to we're really boring people though. Even like when we go on vacation, I'm one that I do the grocery shopping so I can have it all. We're not, we don't really do hotels where we're eating out. I mean, that's so expensive. Let's be honest. It's fun to do it for a meal, but not all the meals. And that's the stuff where you just don't know what you're taking in because of all of the processed stuff that they tackle in there. So at least I'm in control. Lately, it's been a lot of eggs. Our kids, we've taught them to make their own eggs. So they'll do eggs in the morning, bagels for breakfast. We're big on toast. I don't know. I feel like I'm really boring, but
I work 7, and I'm going to tell you, he makes these, I think we talked about it before, he makes these amazing eggs.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're talking he puts maple syrup in them. He got some cinnamon in there. And he's 7. And we happened to have bacon and eggs last night. So yeah, you're just bacon, eggs, hash browns. It's kind of it was
breakfast
just
for dinner. Yes.
Well, yeah, it was just the kind of the day it was that got on. Jess was just I don't feel like making some big, extravagant meal kind of thing. Not that they really are. They're very functional, but
yeah.
And he's just came home from a friend's and what's for dinner? And so she said it and he started getting mad. And so I'm just what's going on, dude? I mean, that's what dinner is. Suck it up. Trying to get going in all that way on him. He goes, I want to make the eggs. And I'm and Jess is I haven't started. It's all yours. Right. And pushes it off. So, I mean, we're that way too. It's, and, I'll let that, well, how about the, how do you manage with the kids on the go? So things like granola bars, the fruits and the vegetables and everything else. And when you do your meals, are you typically the kind of half the plate should be the vegetables and the proteins and then kind of the rest? Or is it just what, we just kind of dole out, it is what it is. And, it's, here's the vegetables, here's the main, and here's the side, and everybody dish up.
Well, we do joke, so we do make their plates for the most part. And it's, you can't have dessert unless you eat all your dinner. And it has to there's always at least 2 pieces of broccoli on there, or broccoli is kind of the one staple that and corn, which I mean, we can talk about that, but I don't know. I feel like we do have really good eaters. There are moments where it's like this kid suddenly doesn't like pizza anymore, and we're like,
Yeah.
you're eating the pizza. This is for kids. One day it's like, I don't want mac and cheese. It's like, nope, this is what you're eating. This is how it is. But they do get really good lunches. I will say they get fruit, vegetable, protein, carb at lunch in school.
Mhm.
And then obviously I control their breakfast. Like it's oatmeal, it's banana, it's toast, it's eggs. Uh, it's not. Sometimes it's a Pop-Tart. Sometimes it is a toaster strudel.
It's
We
all
have that
about
as well.
balance, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
It's just a balance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
love
I
their
tell athletes that all
tomorrow.
the time, right? Like, especially around holidays and special occasions and stuff.
Mhm.
It's just like,
Mhm.
go have pizza and a beer. It's
Mm.
Yeah.
okay. Just have
Mhm.
one or two pieces and maybe one drink or two drinks, but don't just
Yep.
have the whole box and have the whole large pizza to yourself. Because then
Yeah.
that's just I say make smart choices kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
My thing
and
is
I'm
too is
with
like,
you. Our kids are always, you just finish eating and then I'm starving.
oh
I'm
yeah.
hungry. It's like, well,
Mhm.
you're not, right? Yeah. Give me 7 days, right? And then give me 21 and I'll show you starving, right?
Mhm.
Before that, you're just kind of hungry, but you just ate, let it
Mhm.
settle. And,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, they're really good with go have a yogurt, go have a banana, have an orange, have
Mhm.
the just makes homemade bread. Right. And
Mhm.
so they'll go have some bread and
Mhm.
some, like you say, they'll have jam and stuff on it. Everybody's like, oh, why do all that and then ruin it with butter and jam or something? So it's like, because it's flavor. The kids like it. Right. They're not putting the whole jar of jam on it. Like,
Yeah.
kind of, one of those things kind of like settle down. It's all about
Mhm.
portion controls, I suppose, too. Right.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
They love yogurt. Yeah, it's all about the balance for sure. One thing I'm just making sure of like real food. So
Mm-hmm.
I say that with but we're doing whole milk, not skim milk. We're doing real butter, not margarine or like reduced fat things like that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
give me the real stuff. So, I think it's when you get into that fat-free ish rabbit hole
Mhm.
is when the stomach issues and the other things start to happen. Like, I don't know. That's mine. I guess that would be my hard no thing.
Yeah.
We
I
are
mean, and
big
it's
meat
got to,
eaters, so that's that's definitely a staple. And I do try to get. I think I said this before. We do, I say pig, so we do some pork or bacon, whatever, ham,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
fish. Whether it be fish tacos or tuna crackers or mahi mahi. We try to do a fish, chicken, beef. We do try to like mix that up, and that's from just your variety on your taste buds too. So, but it also changes with your season. I think winter months we go through a lot of soups. Summer times
Mm-hmm.
we grill a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's again, as a parent, right, or even as adults, like we just have to be kind of smart about what we're doing and realistic. Really, at the end of the
Mhm.
day, I mean, like you don't
Mhm.
want to set up all these unrealistic goals
Mhm.
and then not meet them, and now you're stressing out about it, right? I've had a few
Mhm.
athletes come to me and, what do you do for counting calories and everything? I said, I don't. And if you want to continue
Yeah.
working together, throw away your calorie counter, right? It's
Mhm.
all about just making some smart choices and trying to do what you can do. I'm sure you're like us. We shop Costco, right? And so, try to, the tunas, right? So, tuna in a can. Everybody's like, no, you got to go buy the real thing. Everybody's honest. Well, realistically, we're not going to go to the fish store and buy tunas and cods and everything else that is great for you. We rather buy the cans because then, we have it. But then just make, again, some of those smarter choices about, don't get it in oil, get it in water, right? Flaked apparently is supposed to be better than solids or something like that, right? So just do your research on what it is that you're getting and just try to make the best choices of them. We kind of like quite similar to your family, right? Like, we do pizza once a week. It's kind of like our family night, right? It's a family movie night is what we do. And, at least once a week. But Jess makes the pizza, right? So we're just,
Mhm.
just taking one more step where now you get to control all the ingredients and you can make the dough as you
Mm.
like. And then,
I can
you
make
know,
some bomb pizza with some like I cheat. I had the naan bread, but then we do all the
Mm.
toppings and then bake it.
yeah, I like those too, right?
Mhm.
Love the pizza Jess makes though, right? So it's, we get kind of the grown up one, and then the kids have their cheese one with a little bit of pepperonis on it. And wings, she always makes a dozen wings or whatever the number is that kind of goes with it, which, and that's part of the family night. So just, making the cooking. Kids like to try to get involved. We try to do some of the homemade stuff. We'll get into a little bit more of what you can make at home. How do you make it, calorie dense and nutrition or protein or whatever dense, you have some of that control when you make them yourselves. But Coach Ann, what about yourself?
So I think I'm in a different chapter of life than everybody
This is
else. Is
interesting.
like, it's just my husband and myself. So, but growing up, my kids always, I always told them, I'm like, you get I choose breakfast and dinner. You can have your choice for lunch, but that's it. So I wasn't the one that was always making like a short order cook. It drives me crazy because
Mm.
they could have their choice for one meal. Actually, I think they chose breakfast because my daughter went through a phase where she ate goldfish and ketchup for breakfast. So, but whatever, she's fine. She's grown up and she's fine. But we are very much now in a phase where it's just the two of us, and I cannot get adjusted to the amount of food to buy. I ended up just throwing away like a whole thing
Throw
of
away.
peppers. Yeah,
Mm.
because so one thing about moving to Florida is that we have great access to very fresh fruits and vegetables all the time. We've got a great store here. We can get all of that stuff like pretty much, I don't know, they say straight from the farm, and I just believe them. So we have that. But with that, we do occasionally like to go out and like just grab dinner. Usually we go out maybe once a week, maybe twice, but we have not found a restaurant here in Florida that we like enough to go back frequently. So inevitably we go and then we come out there and we're like, oh, we could have made that at home. It would have been so much better and cheaper. And so we got into this habit. We kind of really have simplified over the last couple of months. We do a taco night. Like every week we have tacos of some sort. Super simple.
Mhm.
We usually do a pizza night maybe every other week or so. Friday nights because my husband's still running quite a bit on Saturday mornings. We'll do chicken and rice. Um, I love my rice cooker, throw in some rice, pull out some chicken, even just do some like teriyaki sauce on it, keep it simple.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, we also like last night he did a whole bunch of fajitas, like chicken and vegetables on the Blackstone. And then he had it for lunch, then I also made him eat it for dinner because there was enough left over. But we do
Mhm.
try to make enough.
Mhm.
A lot of times he'll take stuff for lunch. I'm fortunate that my work provides lunch to everybody, and they did just add a salad bar in because I wasn't really partaking in a lot of their meals for a long time, but they added a salad bar now, so I just get a salad every day for lunch from work. I do take a couple of things
Mm.
along, like to put on top for some extra protein, but we keep it simple. We go to Costco
Mhm.
now, and we really don't. We certainly don't buy what we used to. Things have just completely changed. Our freezer is doesn't look like what it did when the kids were growing up, that's for sure. But our life is different too. We're not going 100 miles an hour, 12 hours a day anymore. What were you going to say, Alicia?
I just say we are huge on basically it's more so for me because the kids again they'll eat. My husband has a chef at his work, but I eat leftover dinner for lunch. Oh, that's almost like
Yeah.
a guaranteed staple. So if we
Yep.
have chicken and rice, that's what I'm having the next day for lunch,
Mhm.
and that is you don't have to think about it. It's just there.
Yeah.
I will say I also do. How about do you guys do any kind of like protein shrink shakes or smoothies or anything like
Yep.
that or
I
recovery
do, but I make
drinks?
my
Yeah.
own. Yeah.
Yeah,
I make my
exactly. Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Homemade as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I bought,
Yeah.
so this weekend So we were gone last weekend. So we usually buy groceries on Saturday or Sunday. We were out of town last weekend, so we didn't buy anything. So we just ate kind of what we had left last week. And then going into this weekend where I had the dragon boat thing all day Saturday, we went to the store because I wanted to get something quick and easy that could also be out in the heat. When we could throw it in a cooler, but I wanted something quick and easy. So I grabbed like the Chobani yogurt, but it was like something with protein. And I grabbed one of them. Yeah, for I don't know. I grabbed two, I guess. And it was not good. It was no like offense to Chobani and those Chobani lovers out there, but it was really thick and like I don't know what was going on with it, but it just brought me back to God. I just need to keep things simple instead of trying to go down this the pre-packaged things. I would rather buy the big thing of yogurt from Aldi or Costco or whatever and add fresh fruit and do it my way. But there was a period of my life, I'm not going to lie, that we did the prepackaged meals. We were running a business. I was a caretaker for my mom as her health was failing. And it just was a time in our life that I could not, something had to give, and dinners were one of them. So I bought enough that we had like lunch and dinner for maybe 5 days of the week. And it served its purpose. They were pretty decent. But then we also got to the point where I found myself throwing away a bunch of those too. And that drives me crazy. So we just took a step back and really keep things simple. Not a lot of ingredients and keep it easy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think keeping it easy is probably, the first thing to think about, right? Like what is easy, but what is, what's healthy in the sense of, what ingredients are we putting it into, the choices, the portion controls and everything else. And it comes, it kind of segues into, homemade versus store-bought fueling for our races or our long runs or just what we're doing on those training days. We're going to, I'll mention here the osmolality.
Easy for you to say.
No.
Osmolality.
Osmolality.
There we go. Thank you. English is so fun. Right. But a lot of our commercial gels, they take a while to process through the stomach and through the lining, right? Yes, they're designed to go through the glucose and the fructose channels, right, to get the carbs out of that and into the systems that we need. But what about some real foods, right? So just like her potatoes, right? Some baked potatoes. So you can put some salt on those. And now you're going to be getting, some of that salt intake that you're going to be needing, right? Hitting that minimum 800 to 1,000 milligrams that we talked about last episode per hour. The potatoes are really...
Did she eat a baked potato like while running?
She'll cut them up, but yeah,
small baby potatoes.
Like potatoes, you just take a regular one, like you say, you cook them at dinner and then you just don't mix them or mash them or anything and you just cut them up then. And then you've got just like potato chunks, if you want to call it. Right?
Okay, my sister for her honeymoon, they did a stage race, mountain bike race in New Zealand. And they, normally, this is me being really one-sided, but like at our races, there's bananas, there's oranges, there's, I don't know, like gels then, okay. There's sometimes peanut butter and jellies.
Yep.
They had baked potatoes on their... And
that's awesome.
That is not, I think that is unheard of in America.
You guys are nuts.
I don't think we have. Have you ever seen baked potatoes at a race?
I think you're going to see it more on the longer endurance stuff.
I think ultras and stuff,
yeah. Right? But there's science behind it, surprisingly, right? Like
starch. I mean, I'm a huge...
You get your carbs and your salt and
But absolutely. But the things like the potatoes and the oats, so when you have that oatmeal in the morning before race day and everything else like that, they do take a little longer. So the gastric emptying, if you want to call it, for the solid fiber, is more steady, right? So you get that kind of steady dose of those carbs. as opposed to some of the gels or, things that you're taking. And they're like, there's a lot of people, Coke bottles is one that I know a lot of endurance athletes, like, I'm not sure what it's like down there, but a lot of athletes up here like
Drink
those.
Coca-Colas?
They're kind of like, yeah, but they're like a gummy, I think, or something like that kind of thing, right? I think they're just called Coke bottles.
Oh, they're like, they're like gummy bears, but they're Coke
Yeah.
bottles or like worms or whatever.
Yeah, right. And they're supposed to,
Swedish
I've never
fish.
had them, but
Swedish
yeah,
fish.
yeah, I have an athlete that loves those right now. He's going to be doing a 70.3 here. He's
Which are
halfway through.
great for training. Those are great for training. I'm all for like having snacks like cheese and stuff in a training, but not race day. Unless I'm not actually.
But the potatoes and the oats, right? So even with things like honey on them, right? Or but you get the honey in there, and then for the vegans out there, because you can't do the honey, most of them, right? Because of the.
I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, it's
to be honest,
I have an athlete that said, he's vegan. He says, no, can't do the honey because of the bees or something, right? Again, that's not that I don't care. I just don't remember. So I think it has something to do with the bees. So it's animal made or something. And so that's part of the vegan stuff that he's doing, right? But there's options. So we have him doing maple syrup instead of the honey, right?
No trees were harmed.
Oh, many. Just tap right in.
I have a vegan friend who does, which again, I don't know if she does dates and then she stuffs peanut butter in them.
Yeah.
Oh, those are a good nighttime snack, but not a
fuel. All those fluids, like the peanut butter though, but you want the slower release, right? So you don't get that initial.
I think the fiber of a date. But again, I think training is not racing. It's a different. Your stomach it depends. If I'm doing a zone 2 for a long time, maybe I can tolerate that. But if I'm at like a threshold day, there's no way my stomach's going to handle that.
But how many hours are you doing a threshold day?
Well, exactly. My training, I can't even compare to that. And on a bike, it's a totally different
so our speed days too. I mean, they go out and do fartleks. I mean, they might be doing maybe an hour, just over an hour, 20% session, if you want to call it, or hard day session.
Yeah, if you're doing an hour and under, you can get away with
nothing.
Just
really, as long as
right, yeah.
I think there's a time and a place for it. Like we do long rides and things like that. I remember I would do like the applesauce packs. That's one thing that we did get from Costco. Those were great. We did Uncrustables. Those are, you can make your own peanut butter and jelly sandwich and use
peanut butter crackers. I would stick in the
peanut butter crackers. I did like the orange slices with the sugar on the outside. I had another book, and I feel like I might have lost it in the move. It was called Feed Zone Portables. They had a ton of recipes for rice squares, like savory or sweet. So you were using like the sticky rice, and then there was like some sort of filling inside of it. I feel like though that's more, I know people use it on like maybe a marathon or something like that. I feel ultra distance, definitely multi-stage cycling, mountain bike race. I could see it something like that. It wouldn't be for me. I am, so a long ride, things like that. Even during a race, I would use my regular store-bought nutrition plus like an applesauce to kind of supplement a little bit. I do know some people who have made their own, I called it like their hummingbird water, where they would just make a mixture of like basically like straight sugar water. And it works for them. I can't imagine doing that personally, but it has worked for them. I think it goes back to figuring out what works for you and how often. If the answer is the store-bought stuff, then that's totally fine. But if you do have the time and you want to experiment on making your own, then more power to you. I'd love to know what people are using. I know ultra runners, a lot of like fruit, avocado is great for something like that, where you can get the fats, and I don't know. I can't imagine sucking down an avocado when I'm running, but I'll do it with chips and guacamole, but not on a run.
Well, and then there's that line of you need to practice your race day fueling. And I want them at least 5 or 6 times practicing that on their biggest, longest like brick workout if they're doing a triathlon or run. Like I remember I'd go back to my time. I feel like I would get stomach issue. I'm like, I'm losing. I have only so many more weeks. And like coming into race day, I was like, that was my thing of like, am I gonna have a stomach issue? And because everything I kept trying was failing. Turns out what I was doing was having way too much caffeine apparently, and probably no coffee before that thing. So again, it's like one of those things you also just need to trial and error. What works for one might not work for somebody else. And but don't be so keen on this is what I do every time, because I feel like it's changing constantly. As you know, gels used to just be 25 grams. Now there's like 90 grams of carbs. I just had an athlete. In my opinion, a weakness in her is not like, I'm like every 25, 30 minutes, take a gel, but you get so caught up in like I gotta take a gel. Oh, you just forget, or you lose sight because you're just focused. We did 80 grams. She wears a hydration pack. We put 80 grams of liquid carbs with some LMNT in there, as like backup, because okay, if you miss a gel, I know you're going to keep drinking, and we're kind of getting carbs in that way too. So it is definitely going to be trial and error. And I would say don't just give it one chance and have a bad experience and go to it, because it could be something else too. You could be under fueling ahead of time. You could have been underhydrated or overhydrated. There's so many other things that could change something. So yeah.
And
Heat
can't
is
really
another one.
Yeah, right. But we can't lose track of some of the science behind it either, right? And so we need those carbs. Carbs have to be there to, fuel the body to do what it is that we're asking it to do, whatever the distance or whatever the sport. I totally agree. How you get it is going to be unique and individual to everybody, right? But do research it, right? And check it out, because you do want the glucose and the fructose in that source when you're taking it. So you want a gel that is that, 1.5 or 1 to 0.8 or even 1 to 1 between fructose and glucose, so that you have 2 delivery systems into the muscle. You're just not overwhelming one and the other one sitting there idle, right? We want to think about that when you're picking or creating your foods, right? And, that's why I eat the damn banana. I love the banana so much, because you get both the fructose and the glucose out of that banana. It doesn't overwhelm the system, and by not overwhelming the system, we're also not, the body's not spending extra resources on that one overwhelmed system, right? And then the other part is just dosing it in when you can, picking your glucose and your fructose for delivery system. But as we go longer in the event, so when you get into your Olympics, your 70.3s, your ultras, your marathons even, probably, maybe not so much the marathons, but the longer that we go. So again, on average, what are we out there for 70.3? 7, 8, 9?
Oh no. I would say I think it's 5, 6, 7, somewhere
5, 6, 7, right?
Yeah.
Ultras, we're talking.
There was
8 to
Ironman
30.
Texas. He just broke the record.
Yeah,
I think
I
at
saw
7
that.
hours. 7
Yeah,
hours
right?
were full. That was
But
insane.
as we go further into these endurance events, the body has less capability, or the stomach itself specifically, to digest the food that you're putting into there. So we need to think of that as well, as that as you get longer, the more I'm putting it, so the more gels that we're putting in there, but if we're not putting enough water with the gel to, to dilute it, if you want to say, or to the osmolality. Sorry, Alicia, did I say that again?
Osmolality.
That one, thank you. Is, you need the water with a lot of these gels as well, because you do hear lots of stories of athletes going, oh, it just feels like it's sitting there. I had 3 in an hour, I'm in hour 10 of this event, or I'm in hour 7 of this event, and it's just sitting there. Well, you got to think of all the science and let it work all together. And, knowing that because again, we go right back down to the basics of, you are putting your body to the max that you can before it fails for a long, an endurance event. The body doesn't know you're out running a triathlon because you think this is fun. It thinks it needs, like, it's in survival mode, right? You're being chased by the bear. So it starts to shunt all the blood and those like, it's going to say, you don't need to digest that gel you put in there because you got to keep running to live. Kind of thing, right? And so that's when we're picking some of those foods, we should really be thinking that on the longer durations as well.
I kind of wanted to get you guys' feedback on too. So I will say, when I'm just daily living, training normal, I don't look at carbs, I don't look at fat, but I do look at my protein intake. I feel like, especially as a female, we struggle to get enough protein. So I know, like, RDA recommended daily allowance is like 0.8 times your body weight, I believe. I always would say, like, let's aim for like 30 grams of protein per meal, so 3 times a day. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I agree.
Yeah, 100%. And as you get older, that increases. I do aim for no less than 100 grams a day. Ideally, I think I've got mine set for like 120-ish, somewhere in around there. One of the things, because it can be very overwhelming, right? Like, trying to figure out where are you going to get all this from. And I kind of do two things. One of them, and when I'm tracking, I'm only looking at my protein also. I'll kind of preload the day and like what I'm going to eat for the day, and then add and subtract as I see, like, my calories. So I may do, if I'm doing a protein shake for breakfast, I may do 1.5 scoops of protein powder instead of just the one, because that gives you that extra little boost. I might do like an extra ounce of chicken. There are little things that you can tweak that can make a huge difference in the end. But then the other thing that I'll do is, if I'm having a meal, I look at it, and I'm a big pizza lover. I would have it all the time, but I'm not getting that protein, even though I do Canadian bacon and pineapple. I'm not getting that
That's
enough.
my favorite.
Right? See, we could
My
go down the
favorite.
whole rabbit hole of the pineapple.
You're welcome.
Pineapple on my pizza.
Yes,
You're welcome.
100%. Wait, what do you mean you're welcome? Oh, you Canadians, you didn't bring the pineapple to nothing. You brought the bacon.
True story.
So I do try to look at something, and like a palm size portion of protein. So I'm not going to find that. The reality is, I'm not going to get that on my pizza.
Right.
I'm going to get that somewhere else in the day. So I do try to pre-plan what else I'm going to do so that the pizza is an option at the end of the day.
So yeah, I don't count calories. I don't track other macros, but I do focus on that protein element. But now in racing, I'm like counting carbs. And now this is one, and I had an athlete saying, well, I'm taking in this many calories. And I was like, but how many carbs are you taking? I don't care about how many calories are in it, how many carbs. And it was not enough carbs, when we broke it up. And now, so I'm curious on that aspect. Do you ever find like they care more about the calories versus how,
I do have a lot of, not a lot. I've had quite a few athletes that do come to me, and that's right off the bat is just like, okay, counting calories and everything else. And I'll always just come back to, and I tell all my athletes, it's just like, stop. I mean, just stop the insanity, stop stressing. You're going to be, you got enough stress already. I mean, if you got kids, you got stress. If you got a job, you've got stress, right? If you got life, you got stress.
If you're married, you got stress. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, like, stress is coming at you from everywhere. Some of it we induce on ourselves. Some of it is just there, whatever it is. So why add more? And so I think I've done it. I did it. I've been there. We all have been, right? Like, like MyFitnessPal or the calorie counters or whatever it is, and scanning barcodes, and oh, I can't have that because I already, put me over 0.3 or whatever it is. That's just adding more stress. You're not going to be successful at eating properly because now you're stressing. We don't like stress, so let's not do the thing that's stressing us out. So we're not going to do it at all, kind of thing, right? And it's just like, absolutely. So come back to just making those smart choices. We taught this to our kids. It's don't eat until the plate is empty. eat until you're satisfied, for one, right? So eat till you hit that satiety, and make the smart choices on it, right? And so I find a lot of times athletes do get caught up, and I got to count the calories because I'm working, I'm in a build, I'm in a whatever phase, mesocycle I'm in, and, I'm doing 13 hours a week, so I got to eat this number, like you say, calories. But what are those calories? I mean, like, they mean nothing if they're all bad calories, so to say. So make smart choices. We eat a lot of rice too. And it's, can you have the brown rice over white rice?
Don't eat
Right?
the brown rice.
Brown
I
rice
like
is
the brown
icky
rice,
anyway.
right? The
Yeah.
jasmines or whatever it is, but whatever you like. But now you're having
Yeah.
rice instead of French fries, let's say.
Yeah.
Right? So
I don't
there's
know that's a good substitute either.
I don't like the French fries.
No.
Right? But again, just make all the smart choices on it. And I tell them, stop counting. You'll be less stressful. You are going to gain weight. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to gain weight because you are now training, right? You're going to be working up into a 13-hour training week. How can you not gain weight if you're gaining muscle? Right? Really, at the end of the day. And I said, if you can do a DEXA scan now, and then when you come to me and you say, I've just gained 5 or 8 pounds, let's go do a DEXA scan again. I can almost guarantee you, or I will guarantee you, you've lost body fat, so the bad body fat, and you've gained muscle. And that is
the
why
body
you're weighing more.
composition. Right. Your body composition will
right?
change.
But not the BMI body compositions. Please, I mean, throw some of those numbers out the window. Those are so misleading as well, right? If you want a really true one, then go to hip waist ratios and things like that. That'll give you a better understanding of what your body composition is over just, here's my BMI, right? And so
I think again, we talk about the 80-20 balance in training, right? Like 80% is easy, 20% out of the zone too, but it also applies to eating. So that 80-20 balance for overall eating, like there's nothing wrong with if you're going to have pizza, if the rest, you can either look at 80-20 for the week or you can look at it the 80-20 for the day. But I mean, hopefully more so for the week, but you can look at it long term. And still, I don't like the term cheat meals or any of that because, and I hate a cheat day because believe me, I could do some damage on a cheat day. But I do believe in, a reward if you want to, however you want to phrase it. I don't really care. But if you've put in a long, big workout and you want to go eat the burger, like go do it. But also like, remember what you just put your body through and fuel it accordingly. Don't have to throw down. You don't have to throw a bunch of garbage into it because you do still need to repair it, is my point.
Yeah.
I agree, right? Like we do burgers, barbecues, you got friends over. So just make a better choice on the burgers. We'll make homemade buns when we can. We do chicken burgers when we can, like so fillets, that kind of thing. We travel a lot for events in the summertime. I'm not gonna lie, there is a good portion of eating out. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're on the road for 8 hours today or 7 hours. It's McDonald's, right? We're just, I'm not going to lie. We're going to do McDonald's. Okay.
We got a nice bomb breakfast.
Yeah. Right. But again, you can still make kind of smart choices at McDonald's.
Still got protein in there. Got an egg.
That egg McMuffin with that Canadian bacon.
Oh yeah. Egg McMuffins.
However, and this, I think, let's just our clientele, okay? We're not training the elites or anything like that. Many of the athletes that we train are coming into this sport maybe because they wanted to lose weight and working out made them lose weight. And I say this from I remember as a personal trainer, I was the weight loss coach. Like, you want to eat clean. Now as the endurance coach, I'm like, you need a Coca-Cola. We need carbs. We need simple, low fiber. Like it's a shift change. So if you're an athlete is got into this sport from running, but now you're telling them I need to eat simple carbs. I need to fuel a lot. I need to fuel pre, during, and post workout. Like, I feel like that is wait. I'm supposed to be starving myself and working out. I thought that's how you lose weight,
No.
mentality. And now we're telling you to do all the opposite things as in an endurance sport. And in that whole just diet culture can blow. It's maybe we save this for a whole nother podcast.
We
'cause I feel
can,
like
but all I'm going to
this
say
is-
to that one, and this is the soapbox for JW today, is that we have to redefine that stigma. We have to get
Mhm.
people to, it's, you come to me, you want to lose weight, I'll tell you,
Mhm.
keep your money. I'm not the guy for
Mhm.
you, because
Yeah.
if you come to me and you say, I want to live healthier,
Mhm.
I'm the guy for you, right? Like, you will put you in the
Mhm.
gym, 2 to 3 days a week, depending on what your goal is, right?
Mhm.
We'll get you some cardio 1 or 2 days a week or whatever it is. If you
Mhm.
simply want to lose weight, you can do that on your own and just go for walks, and you can, do that
Yeah.
in the kitchen or whatever. We need to redefine that it's not about losing weight, it's about getting healthier. Right.
Yeah.
And so the whole of, just making different choices about what you're eating, that is not necessarily going to help you lose weight, but it's going to get you healthier. And,
Yeah.
society has its stigmas around it. The influencers all have that you got to have this certain body shape or else you're not healthy. And again, this is another whole probably 2 or 3 episodes that we could go on this one.
Yeah.
But it's just one thing that it's always just a little bothersome to me, is that it shouldn't be about losing weight. It should be about getting healthy. It should be about improving that quality of life for those daily activities of playing with grandkids, playing with the kids, and just going grocery shopping without putting your back out, whatever it might be. That should be the healthy part. The losing weight, so to say, will kind of come. But again, you may not
But
lose
I
weight. You may
also
stay the exact same.
I also understand wanting to have a better body composition when you're working so hard to
Mhm.
have better performance. So I can definitely, and this one might sting a little bit, but you would never send your child to soccer practice without food, right? So why would
Correct.
why would you send yourself into a hard workout without being fueled? And that's what it comes
Absolutely.
down to. So it's
Yep.
fueling your body for your workouts. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like I said, lose the scale and use the tape measure more. So do that waist to hip ratio, do the BMIs if you want, do something other than the scale, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're getting the scales that can actually tell you, what's bone density, what's your water, what's your, all the other things, and not just that one number that fluctuates so much. And then it just throws so many people into a spiral. And then, I've had athletes where the scale goes up in the first little bit. And then they're like, oh, I quit. I'm out. It's not working and stuff. So I just think as coaches, we need to, and, especially when you get into like the strength training side and everything else, we need to let people know or just redefine the stigmas around it, I think. Before we sign off, right? Any particular homemade stuff, right? Like everybody's heard by now, Jess makes really great homemade protein bars, granola bars, right? She even makes her own yogurt, the breads and everything else. Is there anything that you two would like to share, that you kind of do? I think, was it Anne that you do the hydration?
Oh, the electrolytes. Yes, I do
Yeah.
that. I also I make our own granola. Um, what else? Protein balls, like for snacks, things like that. I do that. Yesterday I do
Go
some
ahead.
meal prepping. I mean, I do some things that make life a little bit easier because I
Okay.
get tired of the same thing for breakfast every morning. So I did just make. It was a recipe that was resurrected from. I hadn't made it in a couple years. My husband asked for it, so it was kind of a nice change of pace this morning. Popped some of those in the muffin tin, and now we've got breakfast for the next couple of days. So yeah, I do a little bit. It depends. Usually by Sunday afternoon, after groceries are bought and all of the things, I'm kind of just ready to not be in the kitchen, but it does make life easy on the backside. What were you
Alicia?
going to say, Alicia?
I joke that now at Costco they have these protein balls, and I tell my sister, I was like, we could have been millionaires because it's such a basic. It's oatmeal, peanut butter, honey,
Protein powder. Yeah.
Mhm.
mixed
It's
up,
so simple.
and some chocolate chips. You can't forget those chocolate
Yeah.
chips.
No.
Right?
And whoever that person is making millions selling them at Costco, but they're so good.
You know,
And it's
the
like that
reality
convenience
too,
factor.
it is. It's absolutely the convenience factor. And the reality
Mhm.
is like standing there and cutting up some fruit and putting it into some portions and like, cutting up, making a batch of chicken, making a double batch of rice, getting the frozen vegetables in the microwave pouch. Like it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be difficult. It can be very, very simple.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you can save a ton of money. It can be convenient. Make your own. And honestly, by the time you buy the oatmeal and the protein powder and all of that, and the amount that you get out of just that simple, quick purchase, it's going to be, I mean, I don't even know how many servings you'd get compared to what you're going to buy them at Costco, and you don't know what's in those. I mean, it really is
Yeah.
ridiculous. We've
Yeah.
become a little bit lazy in our food
Yeah.
choices, I do
Yeah.
believe. That's my soapbox. I am signing off. All done.
Any final words? Any comments?
No.
No?
Till next time.
Till next
I'm
Awesome.
time.
hungry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Almost time to go get
Yeah.
some dinner. Very good, very good. You can have the best training plan in the world, but if you don't fuel the machine with the right building blocks, right, with the right fuel and what you need and when you need it, you're really just not going to get anywhere. We've heard it before. We bonk. I just faded. I stopped. I had nothing left. Okay. Try keeping it simple. Keep it real if you can, right? So you've heard some suggestions. You've heard three very different points of view on fueling for race day, for training days, and then just general daily life and training. Find out what works best for you, because what we say works great for us may not work for you. It may. Try it out. So that's part of your homework, right? So this week, try making one homemade fueling option. Try to make your own protein balls. Try to, make your own granola if you want, something that you maybe it's the potatoes. Maybe it's something else that you want to take with you on a run, right? Just try something different for that long run or that long ride that you have going on. When this drops on Friday, it'll be Saturday, right? So tomorrow, or when you have your next long run or long ride, try making something. I am totally open to sharing any of the recipes that Jess, as long as she gives them to me, is willing to share. I'm sure that if you have any recipes, and Alicia, you'd be willing to share them. Just drop us a DM, shoot us a message, shoot us a note, and tell us which one you'd like to try that we have. So try skipping the commercial gel maybe on that next one. Eat some real whole food. Let us know how your stomach reacted. Did you feel any better? Right? Did you feel any worse? You never know until you try it. For most of us, just don't do it the day before race day, right? Practice that when you can. I'm Coach JW. Fuel the machine right, fit the training into the chaos, and we'll see you on the trails.
Alicia is enjoying her closing. You're amazing. Eat your carbs.
You're amazing.
That's a wrap for this week on the Endurance Balance. If you enjoyed the conversation, do us a huge favor. Hit that follow or subscribe button on your podcast app right now. It's the best way to support the show. And hey, we want to see your chaos. So come find us on Instagram at The Endurance Balance and drop us a DM. For Coach Alicia and Coach Ann, I'm Coach JW. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the trails.